I thought he was.
Driving the show.
Bing Thom, Chris Wootten, our guest. Bing Thom, as you know, iconic architect, and Chris Wootten started the Vancouver East Cultural Centre. You steered the Vancouver Playhouse.
Children's Festival.
Children's Festival.
Yeah, I've been around far
You've
too
been
long.
around far too long. Expo 86. So you know the arts and culture in this town and in this country.
Yes.
So good marriage between the two of you. And then Ron Stern, who's also an arts and culture person and a businessman. He's the chair of all of this. Is that right?
He's driving it. Yeah.
Okay, so
Very
let's go.
prominent businessman and former chair of the Vancouver Symphony.
Right.
Many arts organizations he's been associated with.
Right, but you haven't got to budget yet. You're a long way from budget.
Well, we have a rough budget.
Rough budget? How rough?
250.
How much?
Yeah.
It's too early to tell because we haven't done the real costing down below, and the cost of the renovations to the art gallery aren't clear. So it's pretty early.
Sure.
But we were talking 200 to 225 million above ground, and we think it's between 5 and 10%, one way or the other, going below ground.
Gotcha. And Bing is going to be busy building the new art gallery, so you'll have to give him some time to design
I'm not sure we're going to let him. I'm sorry.
I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe one of the other people in the firm, Bing, can work on that. So let's go back to the actual structure. Now we have the theater, the 1,900-seat theater, the restaurant, some art upstairs, a center for schmoozing and exchanging. And what about the annex? You know, where they put the coats? I think the bathrooms are there now. I don't know.
The offices of the Vancouver Art Gallery staff.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a 450-seat theater to serve the music, dance, and theater community in the city. And we haven't had a theater of that size in the downtown core yet, nor do we have a place where our choirs and so on can perform in a downtown location. A lot of them are performing in churches.
Sure.
And they're famous in the world, but here they are in Vancouver performing in churches.
How great. So small theater companies, Judith Marqueu's dance company, modern dance,
jazz.
Electric company, theater. Yeah.
How great.
Yeah.
Experimental plays.
It's a coalition of over 20
plays,
groups.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's over 25 organizations associated with this project in the performing arts.
How great, because I know they're always concerned, the smaller theaters, they don't have as much money, or certainly the smaller companies, and they need the attention, and the actors are always stellar.
Well, the way
the rest of it.
The way I see it is groups can make their name in smaller theaters, and then those shows that do really well can transfer into a venue like this. So it's a very prominent downtown location. And
because of the space, we're talking on the break, perhaps a dialogue center, some phenomenal art, showcase the fabulous artists in British Columbia, start with a Gordon Smith at the front door or something. And then you could have a TED conference, right? Is it that big?
Oh,
could it be that big?
The vineyard would be perfect for any of these large gatherings. It's about 10 times larger than the Center of Dialogue. And then we have all the public space in front and behind on Robson Square, and we have some extra space upstairs. So all kinds of arts groups can be part of this. It becomes really the center of the city. Sure,
because it's the digital age, as you know so well. Could there be big screens outside? Say you have the Vancouver Symphony performing with Bon Jovi, something like that.
Well, that's a very, very good question.
Wouldn't that be a good combo?
Well, Toyota with Gary and his new hall in Miami has done just that. They've got both projections inside the concert hall, but also on the walls of the exterior building. It's called a big sound wall. And what that does is it allows us to project onto the front plaza the activities going down underground below them.
So if you can't afford to go to the concert or symphony, you can bring your deck chair and sit under the plaza.
Yeah, we saw that work during the Olympics.
That's right. That's right. Just like the Olympics.
And the buzz was there. It was all there. And I'm assuming that, and I know it will with you, that it will all flow so that there'll be beautiful outdoor space and green space and space for people to get together and.
Correct. We've always needed a really good civic space in Vancouver for the big demonstration and the big celebrations.
Yes.
You know, and it should be in the center.
And I was thinking the Scalbanians will be mighty happy with the Wedgwood Hotel right there.
Oh, yes. So will Hotel Vancouver.
Hotel Vancouver.
And the Georgia Hotel.
And the Georgia
and
Hotel.
the Four Seasons.
And the Georgia Residences,
That's
which are,
correct.
as you know, being built. And
Correct.
so you live there, you can go to theater, you
Right.
eat, do everything
Right.
you like to do downtown.
Correct.
Right.
So now
Correct.
what happens from here?
Well, there's a up to 2-year city consultation process. That was set up.
Of course there is.
That's right. So that was set up before we announced this, but it was set up to just make sure that the public was comfortable with the art gallery relocating.
Right.
And I think that now that there's such an exciting idea for the reuse of that space, I think it makes that relocation more possible. But that process has to take place. The
Sure.
public will be consulted, and then after that, then the art gallery will have to go into build mode, and they'll be building for probably 3 years if they do relocate.
Okay, and who pays for all of this? Taxpayers, fundraisers, private donors?
Right.
How does it work?
Well, generally in the past, it's been a third federal, a third provincial, and a third private. That may or may not be the case today, but either way, there's going to be a lot of private money going into both these projects.
Okay, well, I plan to still be alive when this happens.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see you.
Okay, thank you.
Nice to see you.
All
Thank you for taking the time.
Great.
Big Thom and Chris Wootten.